Rian was not a hero. He was just a quiet explorer from Earth who loved to study distant planets and forgotten places. He wasn't strong or famous. He liked books more than battles and stars more than cities. He worked for a peaceful research team that explored the outer edges of the galaxy. One day, while flying alone in his small space shuttle, something went wrong. His system was hit by a sudden energy wave from a hidden star, and his ship was pulled off course. The controls stopped working, and his shuttle crash-landed on a strange, silent planet that wasn't on any star map. Smoke rose from the broken side of his shuttle. He stepped out, coughing a little, and looked around. The air was clear and breathable, and the sky was a soft purple color. The ground was covered with silver grass that shimmered in the light. In the distance, he saw strange trees with glowing blue leaves and tall stone towers half buried in the earth. Rian was not afraid, just curious. This place, it feels forgotten, he whispered to himself. He walked slowly, taking notes on his small device. No animals, no sounds, just wind. But it didn't feel empty. It felt like something was watching, not in a scary way, but like the planet itself had eyes. As he explored further, he came across a giant round door covered in markings. It was part of a stone building shaped like a dome. Vines covered most of it, and the ground near the door had symbols that glowed faintly when he stepped close. He touched the center symbol, and the door began to open with a deep hum. The inside was filled with light that didn't hurt his eyes. The room looked ancient but clean, like it had been waiting for someone. At the center of the room stood a tall crystal pod, and inside it was a young, beautiful alien woman. She had soft features, pale skin with a faint silver glow, and long hair that floated gently around her as if she was underwater. She wore a flowing teal robe that shimmered in the light. Rian stepped closer and stared in silence. She looked peaceful, like she was only asleep. Suddenly, his steps triggered something. The pod made a soft sound, and the crystal began to melt away slowly. A thin mist filled the room as the alien woman's eyes slowly opened. Rian took a step back, unsure of what would happen next. She blinked a few times, then looked at him. "You're not like the others," she said softly. Rian was surprised. "You speak my language?" She nodded. "I understand many. I have waited a long time." He didn't know what to say. He had never seen a living alien before, let alone spoken to one. "My name is Rian," he said, politely. "I come from Earth. My ship crashed here." The alien woman stepped out of the pod. Her movements were graceful and calm. "I am called Aria. This place is not what it once was." Rian nodded. "It feels lonely." She gave a small smile. "Long ago, my people lived here. We had the power to grant 3 wishes to those who proved worthy. But over time, people came who only wanted power for themselves. So I was placed in sleep, to wait for someone different." Rian listened carefully. It sounded like a story, but it felt real. "You have been chosen," Aria said. "You already used your first wish when you opened the door. You awakened me. That was the first." He stared at her. "I didn't wish for anything." She looked at him with kind eyes. "But your heart did. It wished for help, and I came." Rian didn't know what to say. It was all too strange, yet he didn't feel scared. Aria didn't seem dangerous. In fact, she seemed thoughtful and kind. "You now have 2 wishes left," she said gently. "Use them wisely. They are gifts, not tools." Rian sat down slowly on a nearby stone bench. "I don't know what to wish for," he admitted. "I was just trying to fix my ship. I didn't expect this." "That's why you were chosen," she replied. "You didn't come seeking power or treasure. You came with wonder." He looked up at her. "Can you help me leave this planet?" "I can help you find the way," she answered. "But maybe your journey has more meaning than just returning." He nodded slowly. "Maybe." A soft breeze entered the room, even though there were no windows. Aria looked at the swirling light coming through the open door. "This world still remembers. It's waiting to live again." Rian stood beside her. "Then let's explore it together." She looked at him, a little surprised. "You want me to come with you?" "Of course," he said with a gentle smile. "You've been alone long enough, for the first time." Aria seemed unsure. She had expected someone to ask for power or for her to fix everything. But this man was different. He didn't want to control or even to be saved. He wanted to understand. And so, the two of them stepped out of the ancient room and into the wild world beyond. A forgotten planet had awakened, and with it, a new journey had just begun. The next morning, Rian woke up beside a glowing tree. He had set up a small camp just outside the ancient building. The soft blue light of the leaves made everything around him look peaceful. For the first time since his ship crashed, he felt calm. Aria stood nearby, staring at the sky. She didn't sleep. Instead, she spent the night quietly watching the stars, as if she was remembering something from long ago. When Rian opened his eyes, she turned to him and smiled gently. "You rested well." He nodded. "Better than I expected. I've never camped on a planet like this." Aria sat down across from him. "This planet was once full of life. My people lived in harmony with it. We didn't build cities like humans. We grew our homes from the land. We listened to the wind and the water." Rian listened closely. He enjoyed hearing her speak. Her voice was soft but clear, and her words painted pictures in his mind. "What happened to your people?" he asked. Arya's eyes became distant. "They are gone. Some left this world long ago. Others faded when the balance was broken. Few, like me, were chosen to wait." "Wait for what?" "For someone like you," she said. "Someone with a heart that sees beyond power." Rian looked down at the small device in his hand. It still worked, but there was no signal. "I should try to fix the ship. Maybe we can get a message out." Aria stood. "I can guide you to the old energy source. It lies deep in the forest. If it still works, it may help restore your ship." Together, they began walking through the silver grass and glowing trees. The planet seemed quiet, but not dead. The land breathed gently under their feet. Flowers opened as they passed. Strange birds flew in slow, graceful patterns above them dot as they walked. Rian asked more questions. "How do the wishes work?" Aria paused before answering. "They are not like magic. They come from the heart of this world. The power listens to the one who asks. If the wish is pure, the world responds." Rian thought for a moment. "So it's not about what I say, but what I mean." "Yes," she said. "That is why your first wish woke me. You didn't say the words, but your heart wished for help, not just survival." He looked at her with quiet wonder. "Do you still have wishes?" She smiled gently. "No, I was created to hold them, not use them. But now, I am awake. I can walk this world again. That is more than I hoped for." They walked through a narrow path between tall rock walls covered with soft moss. Water flowed gently along the sides. At the end of the path stood a large stone gate with symbols carved deep into it. Aria placed her hand on the center, and the symbols began to glow. The gate slowly opened, revealing a wide valley filled with strange glowing plants and tall crystal towers half buried in the earth. "This is the Crystal Garden," Aria said. "The heart of the energy field lies beneath it." They entered carefully. The towers gave off a low hum, and the air was warmer here. Small lights floated in the air like fireflies. Rian stopped near one of the towers. He placed his hand on the surface. It felt warm and alive. "This is amazing," he whispered. Ariy nodded. "This place remembers." They found a set of steps leading underground. At the bottom was a large round room, glowing with soft blue light. In the center stood a circular platform covered in vines. It pulsed with a faint energy. "This was once the main power source," Aria explained. "If it still holds life, we may be able to help your ship." Rian pulled out a small scanner. "It's still active, but weak. It needs something to recharge." Aria looked at the glowing lines on the floor. Long ago, this power was connected to the world's heart. When the balance was broken, the connection faded. Rian sat down, thinking, Maybe we don't need to force it. Maybe we just need to remind it." He stood and placed his hand on the platform. "I don't wish for power," he said softly. "I just want to go home. But more than that, I want this place to breathe again. I want it to live." The room went silent. Then, slowly, the platform began to glow brighter. The vines pulled back. The energy pulsed stronger. Aria stepped back, surprised. You didn't make a wish, and yet, I think, Rian said, smiling, sometimes the world listens even when we speak softly. They returned to the surface. The valley was brighter now. The trees seemed taller. The air was fresh. As they walked back to the camp, Aria looked at Rian quietly. You are not like the others who came before. Rian smiled. Maybe humans are changing. She nodded. Or maybe you are different. The sun began to set, painting the sky with soft orange and pink. They sat side by side under a glowing tree. Do you miss your people? Rian asked. Aria looked up at the stars. Every day. But now, I am not alone. Rian looked at her, and for a moment, neither of them spoke. The planet was slowly waking, and so were their hearts. Rian and Aria stood at the edge of the glowing forest, their eyes looking toward the hills in the distance. The planet was slowly changing. The wind was warmer, the grass was brighter, and the birds were singing a little louder than before. The energy core had started to come back to life. That meant there was hope. Maybe the ship could be repaired. Maybe Rian could go home. But now, something was different inside him. The idea of leaving didn't feel simple anymore. We need more power to fully repair your ship, Aria said, pointing to the hills. There is another place, a tower built by my people. It holds a part of the planet's heart energy. Rian nodded. Then we should go there. They packed light supplies and began walking toward the hills. The path was long, but not difficult. Birds flew above them, and soft lights blinked between the trees. Aria told stories about her world, how it once glowed with peace and song. Rian listened quietly, amazed by everything she knew. As they climbed the gentle hills, Rian noticed something shining in the distance. A tall silver tower stood far away, its surface reflecting the sky like a mirror. That's the place, Aria said. It's called the Sky Echo Tower. They continued walking for hours, stopping only to drink water from a clear stream. When they finally reached the tower, the sun was low in the sky. The tower was taller than any building Rian had ever seen. It had no door, only a wide open arch at the base. Inside, it was quiet. The air was cool and smelled like fresh rain. The walls were smooth, and glowing lines ran from floor to ceiling. Rian walked slowly, feeling the hum of energy through his feet. This place feels alive, he whispered. It remembers the voices of the past. Aria said. It was built, not with machines, but with song and thought. They climbed a spiral path inside the tower. As they rose higher, windows opened to show the land below, green fields, glowing rivers, and small forests returning to life. At the top, they entered a round room filled with soft light. In the center floated a crystal sphere, spinning slowly. Aria stepped forward and placed her hand on the sphere. It lit up and projected shapes into the air, floating symbols and maps of the planet. This is the world pulse, she explained. It connects the energy of the planet. It can guide us to the parts we need to restore your ship. Rian touched the floating map. Can it also help more of this world wake up? Aria looked at him, a bit surprised. Most people would ask only for their ship to fly again. Rian smiled. I think this place matters. It has a soul. She nodded, then gently turned the map. It showed a broken bridge near a canyon and a faded circle near a waterfall. These two places are important. One holds the memory of light. The other holds the breath of air. Together, they can charge your ship and help this world grow stronger. Then we go there next. Rian said. Before they left the tower, Aria placed both her hands on the crystal. A soft sound filled the room, like a quiet song made of wind and light. The tower responded. Outside, the wind changed direction, and the grass below turned brighter. Rian watched in silence. What did you do? I asked the tower to awaken gently, she said, so the world doesn't rise too quickly and break again. They left the tower and camped nearby under the stars. That night, they sat beside a small fire. The sky was full of stars, and the moon had a soft green glow. Do you miss Earth? Aria asked. Rian thought for a moment. I do. My family, my home. But this place, it feels special, like I was meant to find it. Aria looked at the sky. Maybe the stars brought you here for a reason. He turned to her. Do you want to leave this planet someday? She shook her head gently. No, this is my home. But I would like to see the stars again. To fly, just once, Rian smiled. Maybe we can find a way to do that, together. The fire crackled softly between them. A quiet peace filled the air. The next morning, they continued their journey toward the broken bridge. The land ahead was rougher, with rocky ground and sharper winds. But the flowers still bloomed beside the path, and the birds still sang. As they walked, Rian asked, what do the wishes really mean? Aria slowed her steps. They are not simple gifts. They reflect the heart. The first wish woke me. The second must be given with purpose. And the third changes everything. Rian looked thoughtful. Have others used them before? Yes, many. Some wished for gold, others for control. Most of them disappeared. Why? Because the planet knows truth, she said softly. When someone's heart is full of only want, they cannot stay. Rian said nothing. He just kept walking beside her. By evening, they reached the edge of a wide canyon. A broken stone bridge stretched across it, half fallen. On the other side, faint lights blinked through the trees. That's our next stop, Aria said. Rian looked at the broken bridge. We'll find a way across. And he believed it. Because this was not just about fixing a ship anymore. This was a journey of something deeper, of healing, of learning, and of hope. Rian stood at the edge of the broken stone bridge, looking across the deep canyon. The wind blew gently through the air, and small glowing lights floated above the trees on the other side. The view was beautiful, but the path was blocked. The bridge, once wide and strong, was now split in two. The middle part had fallen into the canyon long ago. Only the two ends remained, far apart, with nothing in between. We can't cross like this, Rian said, carefully stepping back from the edge. Aria walked at his side. Her long teal robe fluttered in the wind as she looked down. This was once the bridge of balance. It connected the heart of the world to its breath. When the balance was lost, the bridge collapsed. Rian sat on a flat rock and thought, is there any other way around? She shook her head. Not that I know. The canyon goes on for many miles, even if we walk for days. We may not find a better path. He looked up at her. Can't we use one of the wishes? Aria looked at him gently. You can. But you must be sure. There are only two left. Rian stared at the sky. The clouds were slowly moving, and the colors above them were soft and light blue. He thought of Earth, his team, and the way he had landed here by accident. He also thought about how the planet was slowly changing, the light in the trees, the songs of birds, the peace in the air. I don't want to waste a wish, he said. But I also don't want to walk away from this. Aria nodded. If your heart truly wants this world to rise again, the wish will hear you. Rian stood up. He walked closer to the broken bridge and placed both hands on the stone edge. I wish, he said slowly, closing his eyes, that this world could live again, that the balance would return. There was silence. Even the wind stopped. Then a soft sound rose, like a quiet hum, deep and full. The stones began to glow under his hands. The canyon lit up with golden light. Aria stepped back, her eyes wide. The wish has been accepted. The broken parts of the bridge began to shift. Pieces floated up from the canyon, slowly moving into place. They did not fall. They joined, with care, like hands reaching for each other. In moments, the bridge was whole again. The humming stopped. The wind returned, softer than before. Rian opened his eyes. The bridge stood before him, glowing with gentle light. Aria was silent for a moment. Then she said, You gave your second wish, not for yourself, but for the world. That is rare. He smiled. It just felt right. They crossed the bridge together. On the other side, they entered a peaceful grove. Trees with silver bark and blue leaves stood tall. At the center of the grove was a wide pool of clear water, and above it floated a circle of light. This is the breath of air, Aria said. Quietly, it connects to the world's life force. When someone gives to the world gives back. Rian stepped near the light. It glowed brighter as he approached. Aria explained, Take a drop of this light. It will help power your ship's heart. But more than that, it will carry the world's voice with you. Rian took out a small energy core from his tool bag. He held it up to the floating light, and a single drop of glowing energy fell into it. The core changed color, turning bright silver. That's it, he said softly. It's full now. They sat under the trees and rested for a while. The birds in the grove sang sweet songs, and the air smelled like fresh rain. You could have wished to fly home, Aria said. Why didn't you? Rian looked at her with calm eyes. I didn't crash here by mistake. I think I was meant to see this place, to help it breathe again, she smiled. Then you are truly different. He looked thoughtful. What happens? Now, we continue, Aria said. There's one more place to visit, the waterfall of memory. It holds the last spark your ship needs. They packed their things and walked on through the forest. The path was smooth, and small lights danced round their feet. As they walked, Rian noticed Aria was quiet. Her eyes were soft, and she kept looking at the trees and sky. What are you thinking about? He asked. She paused. I'm thinking about the last wish. Rian nodded. I've only got one left now. Yes, she said, and it is the most powerful of all. But it is also the one that comes with the greatest cost. What do you mean? She stopped walking. The final wish is tied to me. I was created as its keeper. When it is used, I disappear. Forever. Rian stood still. Disappear? You mean, gone? She nodded slowly. That is the rule. I was made to hold the power, not to keep it. When the last wish is made, the gift ends. So does my time. Silence filled the path. Rian didn't know what to say. He had grown used to Arya's calm voice, her gentle smile, her quiet strength. The thought of losing her felt heavy. I didn't know, he said softly. Now you do, she replied. The choice is always yours. They continued walking in silence, each step quiet, each thought deeper than before. As the sun began to set, they reached a hill that looked over a large valley. In the distance, the waterfall could be seen, tall and shining, falling into a crystal pool below. Rian looked at it, then at Aria. One wish left, one journey still ahead, and a heart full of questions. The night was calm and quiet as Rian and Aria made camp near the shining waterfall. The water sparkled softly under the stars, falling gently into a clear pool below. The sound of the water was soothing, like a soft song. Rian sat by the fire, watching the flames dance. He thought about everything that had happened since he crashed on this strange planet. He thought about Aria, the wishes, and the world waking up again. Aria sat beside him, her face glowing in the firelight. She looked calm, but Rian could see a hint of sadness in her eyes. Tell me more about the wishes. Rian said softly. How did they come to be? Why are you tied to them? Aria looked at the fire before speaking. Long ago, my people were gifted by the world itself. The planet's heart gave us the power to grant 3 wishes to those who were worthy. But the power was not for us to use. It belonged to the world. To balance life and hope, she paused. I was created to be the keeper of this power, to protect it from those who would use it for selfish reasons. When someone uses a wish, the power flows through me. Rian listened closely. The first wish was always a test. Aria continued. It awakened me from long sleep. The second wish could bring life back to the world, or change it in small ways. But the final wish, it was the most dangerous, Rian asked. Why dangerous? Because the final wish ends the power, Aria said. Once it is made, the power returns to the world, and she stopped and looked at Rian. I disappear. Rian's heart sank. You mean you'll be gone? Yes, she said softly. I will no longer exist as I am now. The wishes were never meant to be used lightly. The last wish is a choice that changes everything. He reached out and took her hand gently. Why did you tell me this now? Because you have only one wish left, she said, and it will be yours to use. Rian looked down. The fire flickered, casting shadows on the ground. I don't want to lose you, Aria. She smiled sadly. I know. That is why no one has ever used the last wish before. They feared the cost. Rian thought about the journey ahead, about the planet healing, about the bond growing between him and Aria. I want to be sure I make the right choice, he said. Quietly, Aria squeezed his hand. There is no right or wrong, only what your heart desires. They sat together in silence, listening to the waterfall and the night sounds of the planet. The next morning, the sunlight warmed the camp. Rian woke early and looked toward the waterfall. The energy from the place was strong and alive. He felt a mix of hope and uncertainty. Ariya joined him. Are you ready? He nodded slowly. I think so. They walked to the edge of the pool. Beneath the waterfall, the water was clear and cool. Light danced on its surface like tiny stars. This is the last place we must visit, Ariya said. The waterfall of memory holds the final spark your ship needs. Rian looked at the water and then at Ariya. What happens after the wish is made? She looked up at the sky. After the wish, I will fade away. But the power will stay with the world and with you. It will be a new beginning. He took a deep breath. I want to do this, but I want you to live too. Arya's eyes softened. The power chooses. It listens to the heart. They stepped into the pool together. The water was cool but comforting. As they touched the center, a soft light rose from the depths. Rian held out the energy core from his bag. The glowing water flowed into it, filling the core with bright, pure light. The air around them shimmered, and the planet seemed to hold its breath. Rian turned to Ariya. Thank you for everything, for guiding me, for believing in me. She smiled warmly. Thank you for seeing me as more than just a keeper of wishes. They climbed out of the pool, dripping wet but happy. The ship was waiting at the edge of the forest, now repaired with the energy core glowing bright. It hummed softly, ready to fly. Rian looked at Ariya, knowing the moment was near. I have one wish left, he said, and I want to use it wisely. Ariya nodded. Whatever you wish for. I will trust your heart. Rian smiled, feeling calm. For the first time in days, I want something different. She raised her eyebrows. Different. He took her hand gently. I want you to live, not as a keeper tied to wishes, but as yourself, free. Ariya froze for a moment. Her eyes grew wide. You want me? He nodded. Yes. I want you not just as the wish power, but as Ariya. The air around them grew still. The stars above twinkled softly. Ariya smiled, tears in her eyes. No one has ever wished that before, Rian said softly, because no one has ever cared enough to wish for more than themselves. A gentle light surrounded them, warm and bright. The final wish was made. After Rian made his wish, the light around them grew warm and bright. It wrapped around Ariya like a gentle hug. Rian could see the surprise and hope in her eyes. This wish was unlike any other. It was full of care and truth. For a moment, everything was still. The stars above sparkled, and the waterfall's song became softer. The planet seemed to listen. Then Ariya blinked and smiled a real, wide smile. She stepped forward and took Rian's hand. I feel different, she said softly. The power is still inside me. I am free. Rian's heart lifted. You're not going anywhere. No, Ariya replied. Your wish freed me from the old rules. I am no longer the keeper of the wishes. I can choose my own path. Rian smiled with relief. I'm glad. I didn't want to lose you. Ariya looked at him kindly. Neither did I. Together, they walked back to the ship. The land around them was brighter than before. Flowers bloomed in new colors. The trees whispered softly in the breeze. Rian felt a new energy inside himself. The planet was alive again, not just because of the wishes, but because someone cared deeply for it. As they prepared to leave, Ariya looked at the stars with wonder. I never imagined I would see them again. Rian nodded. And I never imagined I would find someone like you here. The ship hummed softly. Its engines were ready. The glowing core pulsed with light, powered by the wishes and the planet's energy. Before they took off, Ariya touched the side of the ship. This world will always be a part of me, and I will carry it with me. Rian smiled. And I will carry the memory of this journey with me. They climbed inside the ship. As it rose slowly into the sky, the planet beneath them shimmered like a jewel. Rian looked at Ariya and said, Where will we go next? She smiled, her eyes shining with excitement. Wherever the stars take us. The ship flew through space, leaving the hidden planet behind but carrying its light in their hearts. The stars stretched out before Rian and Aria as their ship moved smoothly through space. The bright lights of distant suns sparkled like diamonds in the dark. The hum of the ship's engine was soft, a calm companion on their journey. Aria looked out of the window, her eyes wide with wonder. It feels strange to be here again, she said quietly. To fly among the stars after so long. Rian smiled beside her. You belong in the stars, not just on one planet. She turned to him. Why do humans keep exploring? Why do you always want to learn more, even when the journey is hard? Rian thought for a moment. I think it's because we believe in hope. We believe there's always something better waiting to be found, and we believe we can make a difference. Aria nodded slowly. That is a beautiful way to live. They sat together in the quiet of the ship's cabin. The journey ahead was long, but it was full of promise. Do you miss your old life on the planet? Rian asked. I do, Aria replied, but I am no longer just a memory. I am part of a new story now. Rian reached out and took her hand. We will write it together. As days passed, they traveled from one star system to another. Each world they saw was different, some full of life, others quiet and waiting. Arya's knowledge of the stars grew, and Rian's heart grew stronger with her by his side. One day, as they rested on the bridge, Aria asked, what makes humans so special? Rian smiled. It's not about strength or power. It's about choice. We choose to care, to dream, to hope. She looked at him with deep respect. That is why you were chosen. Because your heart is different. They both knew the journey was only beginning. The universe was vast, full of mysteries and wonders. But now, they faced it together. Rian looked at the stars ahead and whispered, no matter where we go, I will always remember the planet that gave us a second chance. Aria smiled, and I will always remember the human who wished not for power, but for life. The ship moved forward, carrying two friends into the endless night. The story of the lost explorer and the awakened alien woman became a new light. In the universe, a reminder that kindness and courage can change worlds. And somewhere among the stars, hope shines brightest of all.